for Christ YouTube channel here. I want to do a Sabbath day message again. And I just want to point out some hypocrisy in some people who say the Sabbath is not for the Gentiles, it was for the Jews, it was for God's people, the Israelites, which then reduces the 10 Commandments to 9 Commandments. So even though the 10 Commandments are written in stone, I guess somehow the finger of God erased one of them for Gentiles. And because I've never heard somebody say, well, none of the 10 Commandments are for Gentiles, right? They never say that. But they do say this one commandment is not for Gentiles. So they basically somehow erase that off of the tablets of stone that God's finger himself wrote. But these same people will not tell you that verses like Jeremiah 29:11 are not for Gentiles. So if you're going to choose something in the Old Testament, or as I like to say, the First Testament, if you're going to choose something out of the First Testament that says that is for God's people too, for God's people only, then you have to also say verses like Jeremiah 29:11, which and not the KJV version, but other versions says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to do evil, but to do good to you, all the days of your life. So they like to take these Old Testament verses that are meant for God's people, and they like to use them for themselves and preach them to people. But at the same time, then they want to say, well, the keeping the Sabbath commandment is not for us. That doesn't include us. But what I'm saying is you can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't pick and choose which verses apply to you and which verses don't. Either the whole Bible applies to everybody, or if it doesn't apply to everybody, then certainly Jeremiah 29:11 doesn't apply to non-Jews, right? I'm saying that right. So you can't have it both ways, guys. You can't have it. Which is it? Are you going to keep the 9 Commandments or the 10 Commandments? God bless.